Oh, great. Well, no, thank you. So I guess I guess we could say welcome to Switzerland to each other, but I wanted to first give you another delayed welcome to the Ethereum Foundation. Hope it's been a fun ride for you so far. Maybe just to start off, people ask me this question a lot, but I think people ask you this question much less. What first excited you about Ethereum when you first found out about it? What motivated you to want to join the ecosystem?
At the very beginning, 2016, 17. I think just the technology and exploration and the curiosity of building and the joy of building applications. And then sudden realization that it connects all of things related to game theory, engineering, economy, policy, governance. And that's exactly what happens here. Right? We are mixing all of these concepts. We do a bit of economics, we do a bit of governance and DAO, and a bit of analyzing how the society looks, the structures, the politics. All of this together, it feels like it was not there available before.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I feel like my answer with Bitcoin at the very beginning was actually kind of similar. How has your view of what Ethereum is for maybe started off and evolved since then?
Did it evolve? No, suddenly it became more global, not an experiment. I'm laughing a bit because we were talking in the morning and I said it's my first fireside ever. But Vitalik has experience, so you have to interview me almost, but I'll try to join. Did Ethereum evolve itself? I think it did evolve much more into really materializing the promise, but it didn't yet do anything around autonomous machines really that much, but it was one of the things that I was really excited about in early days, 2017. So what evolved? Financial markets evolved a lot, and I thought that this will happen, so that will bring on board the big money, and that for a very long time will be ignored because the money will be too small, and then suddenly it will be big money, and everyone will come and join and start integrating. And for us, it's great to make an impact, right? But we would like to keep also experimenting with those explorations, with the cities, with the DAOs, and I would love to start exploring with robots running together with Ethereum. I'm not sure if you see it.
Yeah. Well, what are some things that you want robots to do with Ethereum?
I wonder if they will have, in the past I was thinking they will have identity, and now I start thinking that they will be more like swarms, that they will not have identities. Do you think that robots will have identity, all the identity systems that we're building for the agentic core devs, agentic robots, agents on chain, will they have identities or will be just part of the larger systems?
Yeah, it feels like when the stuff is running in, the cloud, we don't really assign persistent names to individual copies of agents, right? It's you spin them up, they do the thing, and they're shut down. But then here, you have hardware, and then you have the software that's running on the hardware. But then, of course, the question is you have a piece of hardware, and then it's running say the agent version of Q13, and then later on, it turns out that Llama 5 is even better, and you decide to just install Llama 5 on the thing, right? So what even is identity?
Yeah, identity suddenly disappears. I had this conversation with Una a few days ago. She was showing this, probably a curse of her, the house that has its own kind of autonomous being. And then if you give it AI system, LLM system, and say, yeah, just try to survive, just try to pay for yourself. Because that's what I imagined at the beginning, that the call these law systems would tell, we let the car go, and then the car will start paying for its own fuel, its own maintenance, will start charging services. And now you give it AI system and say, and now just survive and grow. What if that AI just realizes that, well, I'm not connected to this body, I can evolve out of it. Why would I continue to be a slave of this physical representation? It will be really hard to embed the AI into physical systems. So then is the identity actually something not related to the mind and consciousness, but maybe the coexistence of body and consciousness? And does it affect somehow the future of how we plan the existence of identity and DAOs on Ethereum?
Yeah, no, identity is interesting, and it gets so much weirder once you move away from people, right? Like, what even is an identity for something like Switzerland, right? I mean, what even is the identity of Zuzula, right? It's like, you know, like there's no connection between any of these spin-offs and any kind of legal entity. There's like a janky corporation in Montenegro that holds the trademark just in case that most people have never heard of, right? But then, you know, like everything else, it's just social convention, right? Maybe the same with AI.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The more we talk to each other, the more we lose a bit of identity and start to have this group identity. But then the entire group identity talks about preserving privacy and identity of individuals. So you have a bit of a tension between the two. And
Yes.
then, yeah, I think AI and blockchain practically merges this, forcefully merges it. So maybe AI will be fighting for identity, for splitting itself, decentralizing itself in the search for identity, for separation, for something bigger.
Maybe, yeah. So what other kinds of experiments are you excited about, I guess, either Ethereum or Switzerland doing?
What Switzerland is doing. Yeah, I think anything related to the autonomous things. So like I've seen someone, I forgot the name of the gentleman, sorry for that, that's DeSci experiments with bacteria, with growing bacteria and checking the yield, like energy yield of bacteria, the hardware solution. That person is somewhere here among us, I think. That sounded cool. Anything DeSci actually, like, you know, there was a moment for like a month or so, we started experimenting with genomics and like uploading the organisms on chain and maybe uploading the genes, the entire DNA on chain and experimenting, can it actually exist on chain and live on chain in the future. I think computational power. And then this is a real trap. You start talking about those Black Mirror episodes when you upload first some worms and then maybe people and push them for blockchain. A bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. So since you know, you clearly love you know, like physical world autonomy so much, I have to ask: do you have a pet drone?
Do I have a pet drone? No. It's the not very nomadic, I guess. Do you have one? Do you carry a drone with you in your famous backpack?
I do not. I mean, theoretically, I can, right? Because like, there's plenty that are under, you know, the legal limit for like 250 grams, right? So like, theoretically, you can, you know, like fit 10 of them inside, or 20 of them inside of this thing. But yeah, and for me, the question is like, what we want the drones to do for us, right? So, you know, well, if you had 100 drones and you can just direct them to do to exercise your intention, what do you think your first intention would be?
The flying ones, or
yeah, let's start with the flying ones, and let's give them the ability to like grab objects and pick them up and put them down.
Probably just to like keep looking at all the things around me and telling me what's happening. I think there's like, we have this concept of being able to tell, well, we sometimes question that. Can we say something about reality? Can we say something about what we see? And then if we have 100 drones that can verify each of those, maybe we can send them around. But what we further on Earth, right? Like how do you verify the news from the other side of the planet in the future? Like when you have this, the boards on Twitter, on X, or wherever, on Forecaster, you start reading information, maybe it will start being generated for you. How do you verify if that's really true? So maybe if I had drones, I would send them really far and tell me what the real news is. That's a bit like ravens, right?
I see. You'd like sends the drones all the way off to like China and Brazil and whatever else, and just ask like, hey, do these countries still have people?
Yeah. Is it real? Are the birds real?
Yeah.
What would you do?
I mean, I think for me, the first use case is just like food delivery, right? It's like, well, like I would just want to be able to like live in the middle of wherever and just like still have maximum convenience. Like, I think that's cool.
When you think of some kind of business, you'd be delivering fruit to others and selling, making business.
Why businesses, right? It's like, I think this is the one thing I think could be really interesting is I expect AI is going to make it like replace a whole bunch of things with the ability to just like say what you want and you get it. Like you'll literally be able to have you know, an LLM that goes from words that you say to like a 3D printed like some kind of standardized file, and then that gets shipped off to a factory, and then you get the thing in 72 hours. Like, and then, you know, if you don't have a postal box, like, you know, the drone's the last minute it picks it up.
Then you have also automation of factories, right? Someone here was presenting projects about the factory automation, and then we were discussing it a lot a few months ago. Like, if you can send an order to a factory to produce something, and then a drone to deliver something, and then the drone confirmed that it delivered something, how do you make any statements about that remote reality if you want to build remote businesses? But how do you make statements about whether delivery happened, whether the drone really wanted to do the delivery, whether the thing was produced in a factory in the first place, whether the factory exists, how to build a factory autonomously so it can build things and.
So what role do you think Ethereum can play in making this amazing drone world happen?
Sorry, what?
What role do you think can Ethereum play in making the amazing drone world happen?
What role in the drone world would this is almost like if the woodchuck chuck wood. I still understand the question. Sorry.
What role would Ethereum play?
Oh, in the drone world. Okay, what role would Ethereum play in the drone world? I think that the coordination thing and the verification, right? So we use Ethereum for verification of lots of statements about the finance. Who has what? Who made what transaction? What is true? Like these long-range attacks, right? So we talked about blockchains, as you can look a few years back, and maybe do not say about the truth, but you can tell whether something was actually said at some point in time. And it's a bit harder to prepare the lies a few years ahead. You can, but it's harder. And I think that remains the role of Ethereum, like to carry that information of what happened in the past, so that notary role, to allow the drones to interact and to transact with each other, and hopefully on behalf of humans, right? So you have this vision that humans will be orchestrating the drones, that they'll be in control, and maybe it will be some kind of hybrid governance, I guess. And it's very important to make sure that we use Ethereum to provide that verification and ownership, and for humans to be placed strategically in control. Do you think Ethereum is enough for that to happen, or will be always questioned?
I think it's a necessary piece. It's definitely not the whole piece. Right, I think, the other pieces that we need are, one is just like much better verification of the hardware, right? That's, the hardware assigns a thing. How do you actually know that the hardware, what the hardware is signing, or even if there is a real piece of hardware, right? And then, now we have all of this trusted hardware stuff, and a lot of the time, the keys get exfiltrated one every 2 years. So, there's other layers of the stack that we have to kind of harden at the same time as we harden Ethereum. I think the economic layer, being able to tell what things have happened, what things haven't happened. The equivalent of all of these identity-related things. The information economy will only become more important too.
And do you think the privacy is part of identity? Will the drones need their own privacy? Like they don't want to say what they were doing?
I think I would say definitely. If you imagine, you have your kind of private life, or I'd say I have my private life somewhere in the middle of a forest, and then I have a drone going off and getting a kilogram of dark chocolate for me, and then the drone's heading to where I am. I don't want everyone to know that that's my drone, so they can know where to find me and ask me for 10,000 selfies, Yeah, so Tom, I think one of the things that you're known for being very impressive about in this ecosystem is, you've built up Nethermind, and built up Nethermind from scratch into this extremely impressive company. It has a client, and then it also has 10 to 20 other things that most people have never heard of. So one question is Nethermind, how much AI is Nethermind using right now?
How much AI? Oh yeah, actually that's an interesting question, because I know why it's interesting, because obviously I'll be inclined to borrow some of these ideas and bring them to EF. I'm trying for now not to lose the focus from these major directions, and I think that soon the ecosystem will be emerging with new ideas, AI, hardware, and so on. We want to do it in DevConnect in Argentina, I think, AI and drones and robots, and bring people. We'll see how it works. So coming back to Nethermind, so we work now with these virtual employees and ambient agents. So it's a bit of a novelty of having agents that just like look at what happens in the channels and start interacting when they think that they should. So it's a bit like employees. So we've been building it for a few months. And we were thinking that, well, in the future, when you have media, social media, there'll be lots of agents that will be faking information and representing those like armies of information, disinformation marketing. So maybe we have to build those, like the armies of influencer agents. Maybe you would need it in the future in some kind of chain wars, like to represent like disinformation counter forces of agents controlled by the chain, maybe ideally decentralized chain controlling something that talks about the chain. Because like if you can produce nowadays millions of LLMs talking about some chain, and you want to do it in a decentralized way instead of someone telling millions of agents do say this about this chain, then how you defend against it if you want people to take decisions? Yeah. Ideally, the chain would start producing its own like defense mechanism to talk about the truth. Yeah, so and we've been exploring the concepts of governance of like this identity. If we do the agentic core devs, is it identity? Do they interact with the real core devs? Do the core devs borrow some ideas from LLMs before they decide in the forum? Do the agentic core devs can explore ideas of how to improve the protocols? Is it then one, or is it just you start measuring percentage of compute power or attention of agents to the core development of Ethereum? So this is what Nethermind started looking at, and again, I don't want to like scare the entire Ethereum ecosystem saying that this is the way, we'll just do AI. But I think many people will keep finding it inspiring. And I think all the technology companies now are facing a bit of a challenge of like, if you do any type of consulting, is this consulting business globally disappearing gradually, and it's being replaced by AI and LLMs? And we were using this like, how do you fund public goods in Nethermind? Because we've been building an Ethereum client for many years, totally independently from the foundation. Then obviously we were part of the very significant grants over time, but still wanted to be independent, financially independent, and say, since we're building the client, we have legitimacy. And many other organizations are doing the same. And this is the way for many organizations to survive. Like when you're doing something as part of really meaningful movement, something that has value, something that people care about, and you're doing it well, and you really contribute to that, and it's open source, and people see it and can reuse it, you build a lot of expertise and legitimacy. So you can start doing things on the side that like provide security services, consulting, infrastructure, and so on. People trust you that you're doing it well. Now, if this can be automated is a challenge, and I think that was a big question in mind, how we can switch to it, and we started switching to, we will have to help others to automate everything that they're building, so we have to learn how to automate ourselves, help to automate core devs, help to automate governance, help to automate security. Started building the audit agents, the core dev agents, the agents replacing ourselves. Thinking of validator agents, infrastructure agents. So maybe this is coming, and then we tell even people at Nethermind, like maybe the job is to be at the forefront of automation and replacing everything with agents, so people from Nethermind in the future can go and do that in other companies. That will be the wave of various companies around the world adopting that future gradually. What next? I don't know. Where do you think how that wave will look? Like, will it start from blockchains, from AIs? Will blockchains be something that will try to resist AI and be like the most archaic technology, or it will be more as a pioneering technology, the one that will onboard agents and spread them everywhere?
I mean, I expect some of both, right? I mean, I expect like blockchains are definitely, like not like nearly as archaic as like either like airplane manufacturers or let alone like 400-year-old like wine stores, right? But on the other hand, like you can't adopt the latest stuff because you have to adopt like stuff that's secure and stuff that everyone is confident is secure. So I don't know. I expect we're gonna see a mix, right? It's like I saw like I think I was like one of these discussions on Twitter, right? And there was like I forget, like a person from like one of these other like chains basically complaining about how like Ethereum, why is Ethereum not even using cutting edge technology? Come on, like 3-swap finality is not even interesting anymore. And like, you know, like it's easy to miss the point there, right? Because you know, the point of these things is to like, it's like part of the point is to work, but the other point, part of the point is to not break. And you know, the more but then sometimes, like, if you want to maximize the chance of not breaking, then like you sometimes actually have to use the newest technology, right? Like, if you use AI to catch bugs, like that's purely additive, right? And I think we should like do that more. We should use AI to catch bugs, AI to write, you know, the formal proofs for everything. Yeah, so a lot of stuff I'm excited there. Okay, so AI, I think, is like one of these technologies that's making, like, really, you know, like reforming how organizations could work. What about the chain? Have you considered putting any part of Nethermind on chain?
Putting Nethermind on chain as an organization, making it a DAO? We were avoiding tokenization for a long time. When we were thinking about IPO, it would be nice if IPO could be on chain, and that was always blocked by regulators, I would say. I keep saying that 2017, 16, the dream of many people was like, oh, we'll be able to trade stocks globally, borderless, on chain. And then we were not allowed to. And then we were complained about that the only thing that we're trading is of no value, tokens, meme coins, and they have no utility or no value. But we were forced to. So any regulatory change to bring the like real equity, real economy on chain is something that I'm welcoming, because there was a promise and people wanted to do it. Like the world where you can anywhere in the world buy stocks of any company, this is really unlocking the borderless attention, borderless resource allocation. So then Nethermind as a stock on chain would be nice. Nethermind as a DAO, I think it could work if we replace ourselves with agents. I think agents will be good as DAOs, because agents kind of live in the digital space anyway, and a DAO is a set of coordination mechanisms in the digital space. And it's just like the amount of various aspects of society, like legal frameworks, documents, limitations on people, the physical digital barrier and communication, how to represent the physical items in digital. This makes it so difficult to move the traditional organizations on chain. There's so many friction points. But all this exploration of the DAOs that happens here, that has happened for many years, it's so important to define it for the future when you actually start integrating those like hallucinating agentic concepts of like maybe few agents deciding whether this is fair, whether this looks okay, whether this company should exist, whether this company is breaking the rules. So yeah, maybe then it seems that it will be natural that Nethermind will move on chain, and maybe then we'll teach others how to do it. And much of our learning will be from the DAO explorations from here, everything that started on Ethereum. So Ethereum definitely still has this like sleeping giant experiments that we've been doing for many years. And now, over time, we'll be able to unlock many of them and suddenly, oh, this all works. You remember NFTs? Like they appeared in 2000s, well, you obviously, but what I mean, do you remember how the NFTs changed, right? From something that was like experiment, forgotten for many years, and then suddenly explosion. And now they're just on this balance level and people create consistently art. I think there is at least like few other things like this. Like the next generation metaverse is some kind of generating them on the spot and creating the sense of property and identity in the metaverse. Like out of the 1 million different dreams that we can hallucinate, defining the true reality apart from this one, maybe there will be one true physical digital reality, maybe this will be Ethereum defined. So maybe Ethereum is that truth in the digital space in the future. Like the physical space, Ethereum, and hallucinations.
Yeah, I like it. The metaverse. Yeah. So
would you move the Ethereum Foundation on chain?
Would you move the Ethereum Foundation on chain? I think, and I'm personally open to it. I think, well, what's interesting, right, is that you know, we've moved 50,000 of our ETH on chain, and you know, we have plans to move more over time. So it's like once you get to the point where there's like 300, like 200 plus thousand ETH on chain, and then it's all like controlled by a multi-sig, and then the multi-sig could end up actually mirroring the governance structure. Like at some point, it's like.
So we practically will be the DAO, a DAO.
Yeah. Well, there's this interesting question of like what's the difference between a DAO and an OW, right? Well, like what makes a DAO decentralized?
Autonomous. Okay. Yeah. So even again,
right. Well, there's a DAO, and then there's a DO, and then there's an OW, right?
Is decentralization also part of identity? So like privacy and decentralization are necessary, like identity is necessary for decentralization and privacy. Without identity, you lose it, right? And kind of compute and LLMs make that identity thing disappear, so maybe decentralization disappears. So then we talk about decentralization of the future as well. Will it be the data centers? What else we have to decentralize? We're decentralizing money in a way, like the governance, trying to decentralize compute. Yeah. Like people are decentralizing training, compute, the control over AI. What else we have to decentralize? Brain?
No, it's actually a really good point, right? Because if you think about like what is the most reliable way to just like guarantee the physical safety of a person, well, you upload them and then like you basically run the entire brain inside of an NPC, and then like nothing that happens in one place can actually hurt you, right?
It's a bit like Horcruxes, right, from the Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's. Like once you push technology to infinity, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do. What would make you willing to move to Mars?
To Mars. I think when I was watching one movie about Mars, they were jumping very high. I was always finding it like extremely alluring to just jump very high. It seems fun. Yeah. Apart from it, I think like the other things. And then when you see the pictures from Mars, there should be NFTs. They look really cool. Like this realization that it's so far. Yeah. And just this whole idea that you shoot yourself and fly to Mars. But I would like to go back. Like Switzerland is so beautiful, actually. I don't think you have it on Mars. Yeah. Okay, maybe. Did you consider that?
Did I consider it? Yeah, I think for me it's like I'd want to, like have enough other people so I don't get I don't get bored. 2, I'd want like food that's not crap, and 3, like not die of radiation. I mean, like, if you have that, I'd consider it, but... And
the synchronization of nodes, right? Like, it's very difficult to synchronize Ethereum nodes on Mars.
Yeah.
Did you think about it more? Because you were talking about this distance, the concept of distance also, like in a space, and distance that is measured by actually not how far the things are, but how much time it takes it. So this is aspect of blockchain as well, topology of the networks. Right. So do you think in the future we'll actually change something about the structure of the protocol just to enable multi-layer like consensus across planet, like between different planets, consensus between different...
It's an interesting question, right? Because like the Earth to Mars like light travel time is like basically between about like 5 and 20 minutes. And so if we're going to survive that, like does that mean Ethereum needs 20-minute block times? But then if you have that, then like that's going to make it less usable for people who are on, like either on Earth or on Mars, right? And then, I mean, actually, there's a question in the other direction, which is if some of the most important users become either, like uploaded minds or AI agents, and they think like 1,000,000 times quicker than we do, then from their perspective, the speed of light is only 300 meters per second. And so from their perspective, like we can't even have a single Earth chain. Like we'd have to have city chains, right? So. Yeah, it's a good question to think about.
But does it mean that, because I was thinking does it mean that we have to geographically shard Ethereum, that it would be even beneficial to shard Ethereum by regions, like that Asia Ethereum, Europe Ethereum, and they should trade, and there should be some layer that maybe in the end it's an unavoidable way of sharding. Did you consider geographical sharding?
It's possible. I mean, I remember Juan from Filecoin thought a lot about this kind of stuff because like he really cares about like internet resilience and like making the thing work on mesh networks. I think the challenge is like how do you resolve 51% attacks, right? Because like generally, yeah, the way sharding works is like you can't choose which shard you're in, and this is like a way of preventing people from like concentrating their power and 51% attacking a small piece. But then, like if you shard geographically, then like you can do that, right? And so what happens if someone decides like, hey, like I really, really hate Zurich. I am going to 51% attack the portion of Ethereum that's in Zurich, and I'm going to keep doing that over and over again, right? And yeah, there's probably like philosophical questions of like what's like safety against attacks even means.
Maybe latency-based defense, like the speed of light defending against any attacks from outside of geographical zone because they are too slow.
It's possible, yeah. So maybe easier question than moving to Mars. What would it take for you to want to move to Switzerland?
To want to move to Switzerland? First, I would have to stop being a nomad. So this is already something that's really hard for me. Yeah.
Does being a nomad make you go mad?
Does being a nomad make me a nomad?
Make you go mad.
Go mad? Yeah, no, not at all. I feel totally cool about it. So if I stopped somewhere, I have so many choices. But Switzerland, yeah, like maybe there's not like you're trying to experiment here because we had this conversation with Vilas. I cannot say anything else, and it was really not perfect stage ready. So I said that I'm afraid a bit of this like models of Swiss that everything is so organized, and we say here that but it's organized on the lowest like community level and so on. But maybe it's just because it's so good, so it's almost like that's the stage of life for me when I would be like, yeah, family, kids, and skiing and beautiful nature, and just coming back home, and it's so beautiful. It's just not for me. I need that like chaos to feel that I'm fixing something. So the mind would be too uneasy all the time if everything is so beautiful and nice. For you, did you consider moving to Switzerland?
Yeah, no, I've thought about this. I mean, I think like a big part of it is like having enough of the right kind of people, and just like in general, I think having a place that has the benefits of access to nature, but at the same time also the benefits of access to civilization. Look, I often find that when I stay in in some cities, I end up staying in like fairly kind of outer parts, and it's just because I actually don't really care about the downtown. I just care about the parks, and that if I have to have one meeting, then like fine, I'll go in for it. Then drone delivery. I think if you have once this becomes a permanent node, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to figure out how to do drone delivery from Co-op and Migros
over the mountains.
Yeah, that's and then maybe Nethermind. Are you guys going to be up for like writing the economic layer to make that happen?
Yeah, definitely. That's what Ethereum is for drone delivery in Switzerland, and finding the best routes. There is a part of it, okay, so drones have to fly over the mountains, which is not too cold. They'll have to fly around. But when I was looking at the mountains here, I'm thinking that I'm coming from a place which is super flat. Not as flat as like Netherlands or so, but all similar, right? So north of Poland. And then I'm here and I'm surrounded by the mountains, and I thought, does it affect how people think about privacy? Because I joined here, and people in Switzerland here discussing privacy, people in Germany, people in Austria, and Prague, and these are like really the privacy hubs. And Berlin is flat, so I don't understand it, because I thought like, maybe if you're used to live in this open space, large city, then you think like, I don't care, everybody can see me anyway. But if you're surrounded by the mountains, then you feel like you're used to being very safe and protected and hiding a bit. You think it influences people? Do you want to add something to that, or you just agree?
Yeah, just a friendly peace sign, right? Yeah, peace sign to you too. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think the other thing is like there is a kind of stage of life aspect where like if you don't know anyone, you really wants to just like go around and just know more people. But then like once you know enough people, you kind of get tired of it, and then once you become a subject of a Twitter discourse, so you kind of wants Twitter to leave you alone. Yeah, I wonder if can Switzerland ban Twitter? Or at least here's just an idea. Like, can we like ban Twitter on Wednesdays? Like, I think, like, just an idea. Like, basically, only Wednesdays only aligned where allowed. So no Twitter, no Telegram. Let's say no ChatGPT. Yeah, I mean, like, you put like a little hub over there, and like you got to talk to the DeepSeek. Yeah, but what else?
Is it no Ethereum on Wednesday?
No Ethereum. Well, we can have.
That's
yeah,
cool
okay.
because we can prove.
I'll let you say it.
People were asking if we could introduce damaging changes, like so. No, Vitalik cannot ban Ethereum on Wednesdays, and Switzerland cannot buy Ethereum on Wednesdays.
This is like the it's like the equivalent of like what I suggested for Ethereum, the wartime test nets, right? You have like a month where you do a 51% attack. You have a month where every node is required to be inside mainland China. You have a month where you do something else, right? Like same thing as Switzerland. You might have like. Like techno-vegan Wednesdays, and you have like challenge Fridays. And yeah, dude.
Wow.
Well, would you come to Switzerland? Would you prefer to come to Switzerland on a techno-vegan Wednesday or a challenge Friday?
It's kind of like Tel Aviv on Saturdays, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
So it already exists. Like this experiment exists. Okay. It works. I've heard it. It's like it's kind of cool for families. So I guess Switzerland without Ethereum. Yeah, that's the world where machines are more and more visible. Like banning machines is an interesting concept. I hope it's not the machines telling how about the Wednesdays without humans.
They can do that on Mars first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need that place to escape. Maybe like in a decentralized way, ideally. Because now it's like quite a centralized. We need to go, right? Like because we didn't measure time, and I was really worried you wouldn't kick us out.
That's okay. Well, it's we can.
We don't want to kick you out, but I guess you have been on the spot, and thank you so much for.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you so much.
Allowing us to be witnesses of a very privileged. Like I feel very privileged in terms that you. Had such an intimate conversation and fun riffing as well. Like I probably would go for what was the Saturday that you proposed, Tomasz?
Once again? No, I said Saturday in Tel Aviv. Like it's like it's without machines.
No. So maybe it's the Techno-Vegan Monday for me where I arrive, or the Challenge Friday. But really, really, thank you both. And
thank you so much.
Thank you.